Okay, so welcome. In this video, I'm gonna try to summarize some few facts about biology plus chemistry. These are some neat little facts that I learned about the basics of biology and chemistry. By the way, when you write in blue ink, when I was at university, I heard that blue ink is the best to remember things. So maybe, but you can do multicolors as well. Okay, so biology and chemistry revolve around physical atoms, molecules, and elements. So we're gonna write that down. Atoms, molecules, elements. And what all of these are made out of are an atom. Atom is the smallest one. And an atom is made up of protons, electrons, neutrons. So all of the matter on Earth is made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. That's it. And now, depending on how many protons, electrons, and neutrons it has, the smallest being 1 electron, 1 proton, or 1 neutron, 1 electron, something like that, you get elements. And the smallest element is hydrogen. That's when you have 1 proton, 1 neutron. So hydrogen, and then the biggest elements are things such as uranium. And that's when you have like 230 neutrons. Now, a neutron is neutral, a proton is positive, and an electron is negative. So they come together in a balance. Positive, negative, neutral. They come together in a balance. And all of our planet and bodies are made up of every single cell. And that's what chemistry is. Chemistry is those two. And then molecules are when you build up combine elements. So combine elements. So you start off with atoms, which are protons, neutrons, and electrons. They turn into elements, which is what make up all of the living matter on Earth. And then our bodies and living organisms are made up of molecules. Living organ. So this is biology, all the molecules. Chemistry is the atoms and the elements. Now, this is matter. Matter is all the atoms and all the elements and all the molecules. That's all matter. That's what we call matter. And the entire universe is only like 15% is matter. The rest of the universe is antimatter and dark matter. These are things that have yet to be discovered. But so antimatter is the opposite of matter. Neutrons are neutral, electrons are positive, and protons are negative. That makes up antimatter. And if you were to combine just one tiny speck of antimatter with matter, you would create a nuclear bomb. And the universe is mostly antimatter. And then we have dark matter, which is something yet to be discovered. But it leads to, like, I don't know, like, literally, like, otherworldly things. Like, different dimensions, I don't know. Like, dark matter leads to dark energy. It's like another galaxy, universe living within our universe. That's what dark matter is. But we highly believe that it exists. It just hasn't been discovered. And these make up 85% of the universe. Now, in chemistry, we have chemical reactions. That's all we're concerned with, just chemical reactions. And the chemical reaction goes something like this. 1 sodium plus 1 chlorine equals NaCl. This is what a chemical reaction is. You get 1 ion, 1 element of sodium, and 1 element of chlorine. Together they add up to sodium chloride, which is salt. And why are they allowed to do this? Based on how many electrons they have, how many neutrons they have, how many protons they have. They're going to come together. So you can combine any elements together to form another element. And what chemical engineering does is we manufacture and design the ratios. How much of this we want, how much of this we can use, and how much of this we can use. And often these reactions get very complicated. You'll have like maybe combining 5 different things to get something. And they won't combine. So you need to use heat, oxygen, catalyst. So to get the reaction to work, you might need to add a lot of heat, pressure, oxygen, or another catalyst to get the chemical reaction to happen, so you end up with the desired product. And once again, it's got to be safe, and it's got to be like cost efficient and stuff like that. So that's what chemical engineering is. Now in biology, we have organic. This is where chemistry and biology overlap. Organic elements. These are things containing hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen. So anything containing hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen is used in living things. So living things have a lot of hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen elements that they use within their bodies. So like the digestive system, the heart, the blood, the oxygen, the organs, the neurons, the nerves, the skin, the muscles, the tissue. All of that is made up of these guys: hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen. And they do their own reactions just like this. Now there are some extra elements that play sometimes a role, like very trace amounts of very trace amounts of salt in your body. Salt has some sodium, some metals like zinc, and a little bit of gold can treat some diseases. There's some plus some elements like that also are organic. And so in biology, it's about discovering how the human body works and different animals and species work by their biological processes. And the biological processes, one of the main ones is ATP energy ADP. So one of the main processes is you have a biological process such as ATP, which is a molecule, adenotriphosphate. So it's a molecule that has 3 phosphate groups, and then it releases energy when it turns into 2 phosphate groups and a free hydrogen. And that hydrogen comes off as like power to power something else. Or the reverse can happen. So you build up stored energy. You combine an ADP and a hydrogen, and you get ATP for stored energy. So that's how these work. It's all these chemical reactions that are either, this is inorganic, sodium and chlorine, it's inorganic, and any ones that contain hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, that's water, hydrogen ions, nitrogen ions, carbon atoms, they build up for biological processes. And that's all it is to chemistry and biology. It's playing with molecules, discovering processes, elements, which elements make up the molecules, and which atoms make up the elements. And how can we discover new reactions? How can we discover new elements? How can we discover which elements inserted into the body will help with what biological processes? And things such as the energy from ATP with a catalyst. So once again, we have heat, oxygen, and catalyst. In the presence of one of those, or pressure, is going to break it down into energy. And there's things such as cells. So cells are something found only within living organisms. And they contain things like a membrane, a nucleus, chromosomes, DNA, proteins, catalysts. They contain all of their own elements, which fuel biological reactions. So cells fuel biological reactions. The DNA tells them what to do, and they build it out with their different organelles and their proteins and their whatever elements they have. They use sometimes ions like hydrogen based on how many free electrons it has, or the pressure of it across a membrane. A membrane means the skin around the membrane means like the encapsulating thing around a cell. So they'll play with pressure, they'll play with electron and charge and voltage, they'll play with availability of elements and organic elements like the hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. And they will use those. The cells will communicate with each other, and they'll just float around within the body, and they will borrow nutrients from each other. They will grow, they will die, they will repair, they will heal, they will get sick. So the cells are your entire organism's function. So the entire function of the body is based on the function of the cells. So how they get their nutrients, how they grow, how they die, and what processes the DNA instructs them to do. Once again, there we have biology and chemistry. It's all about atoms, elements, proteins, molecules. 15% of the universe is antimatter. 85% of the universe is, 15% is regular matter. Antimatter and dark matter have yet to be discovered. That's part of theoretical physics. That's the most of the universe, 85%. And we have chemical reactions, we have catalysts, and we have organic compounds and biological processes such as breaking down and storing energy. And that's what I know about biology, chemistry, one-page summary. Leave a like, leave a thumbs up, share this video with a pal, and good luck on your studying.